Yes! What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Hugo the Savage back again for another review. We have Ahsoka episode 1 and 2. Oh man, listen, straight in, man. What a show. I thoroughly enjoyed it. There's not many of the shows, even the ones that end well, that start with intrigue instantly. And this episode, I'm doing episode 1 and 2 because they put them both out together. It gave you intrigue, excitement, a bit of action, storytelling, Easter eggs. It straight away. You can definitely watch Ahsoka if you haven't watched any of the previous Star Wars, but it's not a standalone. I was just gonna call it Star Wars. That's not a correct saying, but it's not a standalone as such. They did present it as it was gonna be like a standalone, but there's a lot of callbacks to Star Wars Rebels, the animated series. So if you've watched that, it will definitely give you an insight of what's going on here. And if you haven't watched it, I would implore you to go and watch that. In fact, I probably would choose to go, because these are only two first episodes out, and there's going to be a whole week before the next one. I would actually, if you watch this review first, go and watch Star Wars Rebels, the animated series. You can get that done, and then come back and watch Ahsoka. It's yeah, it should be on Disney Plus. It should be fine, but I think you should do that because so much things in here, such a continuation from the animated series, which I loved, by the way. So I thoroughly enjoyed it, but yeah, it had a bit of everything. We know the graphics, the cinematics is always going to be. I say always. There was the one when it had Qui-Gon Gwyn and all that it didn't look very good. But that was different. That was a different season. They definitely had the budget for this. I don't know who's funding the budget, but they had the budget for this. It looked just like the movies. Ahsoka's character, played by Rosario Dawson, she's great. She's great. I actually feel like she doesn't get the accolades she deserves in the acting space. She feels like she's a spare hand in a lot of shows because she's not usually the main character, but she's actually a great actor, and I really enjoyed her in this. Subtlety to her character, bit of intrigue and mystery. So I thought that was cool. So the synopsis of these two first episodes as such, and I think going forward for the whole series, I actually don't know how many episodes it's going to be, but I'm going to guess around 8, something like that, maybe, because they'll go week on week. The first episode's about 59 minutes, second one was about 40, maybe, and I think they'll go back into that period. But Ahsoka's basically on a mission to track down this star map. The map will lead her to I think it's Thorn, the Grand Imperial, one of the last of the fallen Empire, because obviously this is not set in the modern times from all the latest Star Wars things. I think this is set just probably about a decade after New Hope-ish, so around that region. So obviously there'll be callbacks and names you recognise in there as well. But they're trying to track down, get the star map, find out how to open the star map and lease off it, and track down General Thorn, the Emperor. Not for the reason to track him down as such. They know that where they got it from, to track him down, because to explain this before the people who watch Rebels in it. But basically, Ezra, who was on the side of the Rebels, a Padawan, he was last seen in the Battle of Lothal, which is one of the planets. The planet's free from Imperial rule at the time, which is what happens in Rebels. That's what the whole point of it. And Grand Admiral Thrawn was, I was calling Grand Imperial. Grand Admiral Thrawn was defeated in that battle, but it was a bit murky the way they left it, so you don't really know what happened. So for his own people, they think that he's been banished and it might possibly still be alive. And for Ezra's people, which is the rebels, they think there's a slight chance. Whereas a lot of people on the planet have already come to grips with the fact that he's died and he's been martyred, and they think he's a great guy. He's a great guy. So that was pretty cool in this. A couple of callbacks in this. Commander Sabine Wrench was in this, formerly a Mando, and trained by Ahsoka as she was the apprentice to Ahsoka, who was the Jedi Master at the time. Didn't complete her training with there, so they've got bad blood between each other, because not bad blood in terms of like very aggressive and that, but unfinished business, because Ahsoka left at the time and abandoned the Jedi teachings and that, because she was taught by Anakin, obviously. So there's that storyline going on there in the background. Meanwhile, they're still trying to retrieve Ezra as well. And then on the other side, the people who are trying to do the exact same thing, but they're trying to get to Admiral Thrawn. I think it's Lady Morgan, she's like a witch. And then there's these two other, which they thought they were Jedis, but I think one of them is Balin Scroll, who was a former Jedi trained by a youngling. And then he's got this lady with her. Now, I don't know if I'm confused by this, but there's a girl with her, quite young girl. Kind of looks a bit like Elizabeth Olsen, to be honest. She's a badass. Definitely, they've both been Jedi trained, but not other Jedi. They're not part of the Force. And yeah, she's impressive. There's a lot of ass kicking in this episode and stuff. She seems like she could be a problem for anyone. So the fights between them as well. It's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna leave that there because I don't want to give away too many spoilers from the details what are in the show. But that's the overview of what they're doing. So just to cap it all off, they're basically trying to find the pathway to Padira. I think it's called Padira, I think it is. That's what the younglings call it anyway, which is where they believe that Admiral Thrawn and Ezra have been banished to. So it's basically a race to see who gets there first, because, you know, if they get to Thrawn first, you know, they can bring him back. If they get to Ezra first, they can save him and banish the whole map away, and they'll never be able to find him. So, pretty dope. Watch it for yourself. As I said, Rebels first if you can. If you can't, just watch this, and you can go back after. It's not going to confuse you too much. But I enjoyed it, man. I've been your boy Savage. Comment, like, subscribe, and share. Let me know in the comment section if I missed anything out. I definitely did, because, you know, don't want to give away too much things in these reviews. If I was doing a watch along and did a review straight after, I could just talk about everything. But because I'm not, I don't know who's going to watch it at a certain time. So, enjoy, man.